And
Hello, hello.
hello. Mic check real quick. Are you here, Iris? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Happy Monday.
Wonderful, wonderful. Happy Monday. Anthony, are you here as well?
I am indeed GM.
GM. Awesome, great. So, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. As always, we prepared some cool listings for you guys today. A little bit of trading. We do some market talks, and we have a wonderful and special guest today, Anthony from Pantheon, who's gonna, you know, stay with us in the stream, trade a little bit with us, talk a little bit about the market with us, and we're also going to check out what he's cooking. So, Anthony, without any more fuss here, do you want to quickly give an intro to yourself? Explain to us what Pantheon is and what you guys got going there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start with myself. I've been in the space, about 5 or 6 years now. I've been a consultant predominantly. I worked at Cointelegraph, ran the accelerator, worked kind of here and there with some of the major institutions, and worked alongside them quite extensively just with my own business. Since, obviously found my way into Pantheon, my business partner and founder, colleague, and good friend, Paul Monk, is an absolute genius. I won't get too deep in right away because I could talk for hours and hours, but I'll give a bit of context. Essentially, what Paul has done, as an individual that has been investing in the space as an angel and owning his own family office and participating in the early tech many years ago, came to the realization that the economics in this market just don't work. 99.9% of tokens or 99.8% of tokens are destined to trend to zero, right? And there's a reason for that. There are many reasons for that. But essentially, he worked to resolve that with the economic model that he's comprised here at Pantheon. And what Pantheon is essentially, in a nutshell, is a launchpad in which creators and other builders and forms of deployers can deploy tokens. And when they deploy a token, it's attached to a vault. Within that vault, everything that is deposited is locked for 24 months or vested over that period and released in the form of a yield to the people that have bought the token associated with it and staked it. Minimum staking period is 6 months, so it's a lengthy one for most, and we're starting to see how we're changing the culture with that already in our first launch last week. And in that vault, the intention for the APR is to be an index of yield. You're not just getting the native token, or you're not just getting a stable yield. What you're getting is any and absolutely every asset that gets deposited into that vault. So, in some cases, we might have a meme coin creator who's advertising or promoting 20, 30 different tokens a month. After 5 or 6 months, you're talking about hundreds of tokens that are getting airdropped to your wallet because you've gone ahead and staked that creator's coin. And that's the model in a nutshell, but there's a whole lot of depth we can get into, and I'll pass the mic back over so I don't hog it the whole time.
No, it's great. Well, first of all, thanks for the quick intro. I'm sharing live on screen here currently the vaults, etc. So I see that you guys got an upcoming launch of Big Will. So can you talk a little bit more about those faulty economics for launches and for tokens and vaults, etc., and how you guys are basically doing it better?
Yeah, well, essentially, the major problem with every token in the space is that when they go to market, there's a lot of speculation and excitement generated around them, at least those that find some short term success. But that speculation and excitement is predicated on the concept of three deliveries, and that's distribution, that's returns on investment, and that's revenues to be generated by a business or a model behind it. And generally, no token does that, and very few that do. They're having a tough time in actually being able to correlate price to earnings. And I don't want to call out any particular tokens, but you can hop on CoinMarketCap. You can find some of the bigger ecosystem tokens that are generating massive revenues, and you'll notice that their prices are all downtrending regardless. So there's just a disconnect in the industry, and that disconnect is the lack of incentive structure towards those that are purchasing the tokens. So that's what we're looking to achieve with our model. Now, you did mention Big Will is upcoming. Yeah, he's going to be launching today. Big Will, if you don't know him, I recommend you follow him, first of all. He is one of the earliest and most influential individuals within the virtuals ecosystem. And if you're trading on Base right now, virtuals is hot. It's always hot. Ecosystems as an ecosystem, and Base as an ecosystem as well is also quite hot. So worth giving him a follow. Now he's coming in with a number of assets. He's got 5 different tokens from 5 different projects that he's working with as an advisor or a promoter of. He's going to be depositing them into his vault. So there'll be immediately, once you stake his token, in the next epoch, you'll be receiving 5 different tokens in yield plus his native. Also had a launch
Great.
last week. Oh, sorry.
No,
Mhm.
no, I'm just saying great. Like I'm checking out Big Will's profile here, like on X, and like checking out the vault, etc. So it all makes sense. So like, do you have a like? I mean, it sounds maybe weird to ask that, but do you have a favorite type of creator that you guys are looking for to work with? Is it more the OGs here that come in heavy, or is it also the newer guys that might want to also leave a little bit of a footprint here?
Yeah, it's a good question. And the way we're approaching right now, because at this stage in the business, our go to market is organic, it's grassroots. It's very important that values are aligned and that the creators that are participating with us are participating with a belief in the model, right? Not just for quick monetization.
Mm-hmm.
So there are properties or characteristics of creators that we're looking for, but it's not based on scale, the size of their following or audience or influence. It's not based on the niche in which they participate or the types of projects they promote. We're open to anything and everything, really. What we're more so concerned with is those that come in that have positive intentions, that are transparent, that are communicating their thesis, they're honest about their deal flow, they're comprising a strategy to be able to deposit particular forms of deal flow into their vault so that they can actually take advantage of the value propositions that our economic model provides so that their token will scale and grow. We're very incentive aligned in that a creator's success in our model is dependent upon how much he essentially pays his following or she pays her following. Conversely, Pantheon will have a token down the road in about 6 months, and our success is predicated upon how successful every token on our platform is. And again, it's all just derived from the vault structure and the yield. So traders that are buying and staking the token are doing so under the incentive that they're getting APR because lots of deal flow goes in the creator's vault. Our token will also have a vault, and everything that goes in our vault will be tokens that have launched from our platform. We take 2% of each supply. So if every token launching from our platform is highly successful, scales and grows and has a high FTV, our yield will also increase down the road when we launch our token. So we want to make sure we get to that very root cause, and that root cause is making sure that the retail traders that come into this ecosystem find success, whether that is via the APR and the yield that they receive, or just through parabolic growth in the token, because token price go up is always a great marketing tool as well. We just need the success stories. That's our primary concern.
And guys, like you're saying it right. Like you're supporting the market like from its infant shoes here, basically. Like you're putting the entry to barrier down like a lot, right? Like you could go to any, let's just say, like more success, or not even the lesser successful creator could over time, as you said, right, like with this little bit of a like a compound effect that you guys have with just adding airdrops or giving airdrops to people, could start like building a very, very strong reputation for himself, right? With
Oh, absolutely.
also, and what you guys enable them is to actually push through the noise, right? Because a good trade sometimes goes noticed, but like excuse me, next day everybody has forgotten about it, right? There's just a few trades, legendary trades in history that everybody can remember. But if you can build a reputation over your vault here, right, and over the good basically, and the work that you put in, and other people are going to be able to benefit of that, that's basically like a complete new mechanism for it. So I like that a lot. And especially with you guys, right, like having the 2%, just going to shamelessly plug Vibe here, because why not? You guys are going to hold that for a very, very long time, so you probably want to add um, uh, some of those tokens to Vibe, because otherwise you would just hold idle tokens that you couldn't yield off. So there's mechanisms for everything, is what I'm trying to say here. And you guys tackling this whole like faulty economics when it comes to vault creation, and creators actively caring about people that work together with them. I think it's a big step forward. So I like it a lot what you guys are doing here. So tell me a little bit more about like the future, the next 3 to 6 months. What's on your mind there?
And can I quickly jump in here before you answer that, Anthony? This 146,000 APR has kind of caught my attention here. Is this real? Right? Like, is that the actual APR right now, or?
Yeah, that is legitimate. So that
Oh,
was actually a test token. It's a low liquidity, so I wouldn't worry too much about that being the gold standard. But if you take a look over at Glitch Star that was next to it, which was our first creator launch, the APR there was approximately 87,000, I believe, on launch. So
Mm.
really significant. Right now, it is scaled all the way down to about 966% APR, which is a hefty drop, but still quite substantial in terms of viable APR. And that's the entire mechanism, really, in terms of the upside. So our APR functions in two ways. It sets a new price floor every time. All of our stakers stake for 6 months. They can emergency unstake, and there's a fee associated with that. But generally, everybody's staking because they believe. They believe in the deal flow. They believe in the returns. They see the APR. Why would they not want to, right? Or at least have varying diversity strategies where some of it is liquid and some of it is staked. But in any case, it sets that price floor. And you can take a look over at the G Star chart and see that it immediately 25x'd on launch. It corrected about 50% at its lowest. And then it's been uptrend and a little bit of a downtrend today because people are probably rotating to the new launch, and then they'll circle back as more APR comes in. But that's the downside, right? Like, no token is ever going to go to zero. They're always going to have a price floor secured by the amount of supply staked. And on G Star, 40% of the holders staked, and they staked 40% of the supply that was purchased. So pretty substantial when you consider the fact that they've locked it up for 6 months. Now, the upside, the other side of that coin is that we're seeing people sell off today, probably to rotate into big wills. But what they don't realize is that on G Star with Mizzy, he's got more yield coming. That 966% that exists right now is, well, what's in the vault as it is. But the vault can be expanded upon. He can add more assets in terms of the number of assets, and he can add more quantity of a single asset. So there are some surprises coming from Mizzy on G Star, and that's going to shoot up. That APR is going to fly up again. So essentially, what we have is security in the price floors underneath, and then we have an unlimited scaling of the APR. As much money as he can drive into that vault is how high the APR will go, and that direct correlation will continue forever. So the best performing creators in terms of deriving deal flow and driving it into their vault, that's going to be the most successful FDV just by mechanical behavior. It really little to do with human behavior and little to do with human psychology, and more to do just with modern economics and how functions work.
Yeah, like this is built very well. This is built very very well. I like it a lot. Like I said it before, but like I mean here like again like this is why I always say Vibe is the perfect extension to everything. It's like imagine those creators, right? Like or like everybody now with Vibe having the opportunity to create a perpetual market and permissionlessly create that. Now you can even use the tokens that you get here as with an airdrop, and you don't have to sell them immediately. You can yield off them, right? You can hold the creator coin for a very long time and just yield off it here. So I think there's so many cool things in this market, and it's a pleasure having you here, Anthony. But again, back to your roadmap. What's coming in the next 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, before I get too deep into everything, I'm going to kind of circle back because you made mention of users utilizing their supply, and this is something that I consider a part of our roadmap. Is and I'm going to leak it right now. I'm not even going to ask permission. We've got a call this week with the Vibe trading team. And the vision is to be able to provide these creators and deployers the opportunity to integrate and have a perpetuals market live upon their launch or at a particular milestone within their launch process, whether that's a particular market cap or what have you. But that is the intent. I see some really interesting opportunities there to have that financial product wrapper. And I know some creators that have interest already. So that's something that is in the roadmap. Where it goes, we'll see. But we're having that conversation this week, of course. And then, for us from a
Yeah.
business perspective, we have immediate business goals that we have to hit. Now, last week's launch was our first launch. We tested some things. Some things went really well. We had some hiccups and problems. What was really important for us was communicating with our private community. We just launched a public community today. Prior to that, for the past few months, we've strictly been dealing with private handpicked individuals that were referred or picked by us specifically to join the community.
Just real
There
quick
are
to interrupt you there. How can
Yeah.
people join the community?
The public community, we have a post up on the timeline, both on my account as well as the Pantheon account. You might have to scroll down a little bit. We'll pin it up after Big Will's launch today, but it has a link. It's just t.me/Pantheon Vaults, the same handle as we have on X. That's a public community. Great place to come in, get information, ask questions. And if you're interested in becoming an immortal, part of our private community, there's a waitlist application there. We have a massive list of people trying to get in. We try to keep the group, around 250, 300 people tops. Obviously, that's going to scale in time as we have more and more assets available for purchase and trading. But we try to keep it relatively lean and keeping the demand reasonable. Simply due to the fact that we don't want to dilute too much. We want to make sure everyone within our community has access to these launches. There's a whitelist period of every launch, and that's what the immortals have access to. So they can invest in a seed, lock up their tokens for 6 months. They don't collect any yield, but they have the earliest entry. That's should the creator deployer wish to impose a seed, they may just go straight to bonding curve. Either way, there's also a subsequent bonding curve period in which is still private and whitelisted, so only members of the Immortals group have access to that. And with today's bonding curve, we have a particular model we call a guardian buy that Big Will has essentially gathered the feedback from the community on, and had consensus that that was what they wished to pursue. And what the Guardian buy is essentially a community bundle where there's a max buy of $1,000 in this case, and everybody can send funds to a wallet during a 5-hour window. During that window, funds are accumulated. There's a bundled purchase, and then the tokens are then distributed proportionally to everybody who contributed in the same form. So everybody begins slightly up on their bag. Price impact kind of brings the potential exits down, but everybody starts at the same baseline to keep distribution even. And it just, we think it's going to lead to a better launch performance, but we'll see. We're going to continue to experiment and continue to gather feedback from the community, which has been very important for us. Again, our first launch was last Wednesday. Our next launch is today, 5-day difference. We put out a feedback form in the community just asking about the experience in the first launch, and we identified two major flaws. There were a number of people that didn't get the opportunity to participate in the bonding curve early on because in our platform we had the option for 1%, 2%, or 3% slippage. Well, as you know, when everybody's rushing to buy, that slippage could be 12, 15, 20, 25%.
That
Um,
happens, yes.
yeah. So we left money
Unfortunately.
on the table. We left buy pressure on the table. We had individuals that didn't get to join in at the point in which they wished. So we immediately got
Have
that
you
shift.
thought about maybe a mechanism where you average out the price in the bonding curve, basically? So basically, it doesn't depend. It doesn't matter how much slippage you get in. Like price is averaged out, everybody gets the same price.
Well, that's what the Guardian buy is going to do. It's going to alleviate
Oh.
that problem. So everybody buys in at the same price point. It's just one purchase and then tokens distributed.
Hmm.
However, in the case that in the future we have that issue again, or a deployer or creator does not wish to have a Guardian buy, we've now adjusted so there's full control over the slippage from 0 to 100%. Additionally, another issue we encountered was that there was no restaking. So individuals had bought tokens and then bought more tokens. They staked some tokens, maybe bought some more tokens. They weren't able to add to their stake pool from the same wallet. We were able to actually get that updated and shipped in time. So pretty major changes in a short period of time that have a
Great.
major impact on the performance of a launch. Obviously, leaving buy pressure on the table is never good, and having people that want to lock up supply for 6 months but can't do so also not very good. So we're very keen to listen to the community and adjust and iterate, and we want to do that from launch to launch. I would say that is the sentiment and tone through this next 3 to 6 months is we need to continue to iterate and not only find our product market fit, but prove it, scale it, and deliver at scale. Something else that's really important, in terms of our business objectives is proving our thesis, right? Like we're coming out here and telling everybody the market's broken, every token sucks, ours are superior. That's a bold claim, but we need to prove it. With Missy's launch, I think we did make some major evidence points we created or generated. One is that, well, there's a strong appetite for yield. And when you have a diverse index of yield that has multiple assets and an inflated or disproportionate APR, people will buy it. We prove that. We've got 40% of the holders that are now staked for 6+ months. I've never heard of that in any asset in my entire time in the space, to be perfectly frank. And what we also proved is that APR securing price floors or stakers will secure the price floors. And we saw that as well. Max correction of 50%, upward trend since the downward trend right now is a result, again, of probably rotating into a new launch today. We expect that'll go back up. And I don't think we'll ever see that price floor again, that $1.25 million market cap. So two major components of our thesis have been proven. And I imagine Mizzy is going to prove the third one very soon, and that's that by adding more APR to the vault, you're going to see scalable correlation with the price, the FDV. I'm quite confident in that. So the evidence of our thesis has been proven in our first test launch. We need to bring that to market and scale, right? We need to continue to replicate it, prove it time and time again, and prove it in larger and larger capacities with more and more liquidity. That's going to be, again, a major impact on our decision-making processes and how we move forward. And then in terms of how we're moving forward, we're going to continue launching. And we've got another launch this week. We're moving to a different type of creator, kind of, I would say, ecosystem agnostic, but a little bit more of a gaming background. Really large following, 114,000 followers. I think 300 smart followers, very engaged and active in deal flow, manages an agency, works with every blockchain, that has a gaming ecosystem, which is the majority of them. So going to be diverse in the niche and type of launch, but again, scaling upwards. And then we're going to continue doing so. We're going to continue launching creators in different market segments or different niches within the crypto space, different sizes and scales, different networks and audiences so that we can make sure we have diversity in deal flow. And we're going to let these creators kind of compete with each other as well. At the end of the day, we have these mechanisms in place to make sure that assets never go to zero. We have mechanisms in place to make sure that these creators have every tool in their toolbox to scale them up. But then the question becomes, well, who dominates a market segment, right? At the end of the day, there can only be one Amazon, there can only be one Google. So we're going to have this competitive atmosphere amongst the creators while they try to capture the majority of the deal flow or the most significant deal flow in their segment and push that forward. And then from there, we also want to find, as you mentioned earlier, some of the smaller creators that, maybe they have some deal flow, maybe they have a bit of a presence, they're working hard, they're producing great content, they're doing cool things in the space, and they want to scale and grow. Well, the flywheel works two ways. It works on the asset side, but also works on the creator side. And that's why we have so much demand from creators right now. In that, well, one, of course, they own 50% of the supply that's locked for 6 months, invested for an extended period of time. That's something they can lend against and increase their net worth. Like Mizzy right now, $1.6 million market cap. He's sitting on $800,000 worth of assets, just, a change plus $800,000 in just a few days. Whether or not he has access to it, different question, but there's things he can do with it. That is applicable to his net worth. And then, of course, generating fees on the side. So there's an economic component for creators that's beneficial. But as they gain presence, as they show that they have more holders, they have holders that are willing to buy and lock up and stake tokens that they've purchased. This is great leverage for deal flow. They can go get more deals and larger deals with new businesses and new projects. And simultaneously, while they do that, they generate more revenue. So they scale their audience. This is a cycle of their audience grows, their holders grow, their distribution channel grows. They get better deal flow. They get more significant deal flow. And this continues to cycle and cycle for those that execute and deliver on their promises and follow through the value propositions that exist with the product. Now, I mentioned also that we have a pretty significant number of creators reaching out to us in our timeline next 3 to 6 months. Our goal is to get about 50 creators live. We've got about 35 launches planned right now with essentially structured dates and times. That'll probably reach the 50 point pretty soon here. And then we have over 100 conversations open with creators that are interested in launching. So our goal is to kind of hit critical mass, get a number of creators out there, scale up our AUM, build our presence, build our traction, scale our community, make sure that we have success stories along the way. Every launchpad has runners and things like that, and that's great. But if the majority of your consumer base is not happy with where they're at because they didn't see returns on their price scale or valuation increase, or they didn't see returns via the yield, then you just have a lot of upset people that are looking for something new. And that's not what we want. We want to make sure that everybody wins the best that they can, and make sure that we continue to drive that forward and continue to prove the thesis. So quite a few creators. There's going to be a number of builders as well. I'll get into the builder coin model later. Perhaps I've been kind of rambling again, but quite a bit planned for the next 3 to 6 months, I would say.
Nice, nice. I mean, yeah. There's a lot of stuff coming. I mean, 50 launches. That's quite a bit. And I was about to say, there's a nice little 24-second video on your Twitter. So let's quickly listen to that. What Big Will has to say here about Pantheon and why he is basically joining Anthony on this quest, basically. So
Grab some
let's see.
popcorn, guys. Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Oh,
I think that's going to be an issue.
oh yes, that is an issue that people can't hear that. That is not good. But why? Well, we have to figure that out for sure.
Yeah. Well, guys, you guys can see Pantheon's account, Pantheon Vaults. Go check out the video yourself.
Check out the video and check out the account and check out, maybe you can still be part of that launch later. Who knows? Yeah.
Anthony,
Paris,
I
go ahead.
feel like I know what this gaming creator is going to be, and I'm just going to guess the first letter because I don't want to give it away. Maybe you can tell me if I'm right or not. Is it an S?
It is indeed.
Okay, I do know who. Oh, very nice. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun. He's got a completely different audience, I think, than how we've composed our private community initially. We started very early on with, and I don't want to be condescending saying anybody is an unsophisticated investor, but more sophisticated investors or credit investors, guys that are running family offices or VCs. And then we quickly pivoted into more of the trench-based traders and investors so we could have a bit of diversity in those that want to seed and lock up for 6 months and forget about it versus guys that want to be active on the charts. And we've been very focused on those two fields, but now that we're venturing into more of a creator that's focused on consumer-facing products, I think that audience broadens vastly and it completely changes the demographics. So I'm very interested to see how that plays out as well. It'll be very fun.
Yeah, also, especially since I'm not sure if the other creators do or not, but having their own community, which I know that this guy does, their own kind of branded community, there's a lot more of that. Yeah, a lot more engagement that happens through that. So that's going to be an exciting one.
Yeah, there's going to be lots of that as well. And again, diversity in creators. We even have some creators lined up that are not even Web3 centric. We've got an LPGA pro professional golfer. She'll be launching a token with us in a vault. And so we really want to kind of access all the corners and shadows and spaces and niches around not just the crypto industry, but entertainment in general and where people are communicating in open forums, essentially.
And so will this technology ever become open source or sorry, like permissionless or?
It absolutely will. We
Oh,
actually
yeah,
debated about this rather extensively internally in the beginning because we are very pro free markets. We are very pro permission. That's why we're here. Like Paul and I are kind of the cypherpunk ideology. Where the origins of crypto really began. That's what we believe in. However, given the nature of our business, if we went permissionless to begin, we would be endangering not only our business and ourselves, but everybody that participates. Right. So we want to build trust and credibility, but with curation, and we want to make sure that each of these curated launches is closely monitored. We're supporting the teams. They understand what we're building and how to utilize it effectively. Make sure their intentions aren't malicious. That's really important to us. So the first 100 launches or so are going to go that way. However, there will be a point in time when this goes permissionless, and we'll continue to curate launches after that, of course, working with those that we endorse. But this does need to go to the market in a permissionless sense. We don't want to gatekeep the whole way through. We don't want to control people's opportunities or decision-making processes. So we will go permissionless in due time. But first, we need to prove everything. We need to justify it, and we need to make sure that we provide ample opportunity to everybody involved.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's one of those products that you do need good case studies for, especially
Yep.
since there's lockups and APRs. And if you have just the most random people launching tokens the second you launch, yeah, it'd be bad taste for sure. So that's a
Could be
great.
disastrous. Yeah. And from a product perspective, we want to continue to iterate. I mean, just in the last 5 days, two major changes that really impacted the experience of users. Imagine we just went public, go to market, and did so in a way that everybody had access and permissionless, and there were hundreds of launches we couldn't keep up with. It'd be very difficult to make these corrections. So I think this way of including our community in the decision-making process and the evolution of the product is also really important because at the end of the day, it's their experience that matters. So their voices need to be heard.
Oh yeah, no. Me and Timo usually find one or two bugs at least every stream. Like we find them live, and then we just find them live on here as well. So it's yeah, it's a
Yes.
constant. That's why we're in beta still. It's a
Just
constant.
yesterday, I found a smaller one, but like that is we know about that. So
It's the way
it's
to do
like,
it, boys. Building in
yeah,
public. I love it.
yeah. I mean, and that's a good part, right? Like next stream, we can show the people that we fixed those things, and makes a lot of sense for them to also, just keep being part of the journey, right? Because like we're still in closed beta. This is all super super early. Um, uh, but it's fun to build in the open, and it's fun to answer the questions. It's fun to talk with people, to get them all, behind vibe, and like have them, like, yeah, be part of the journey, as I said. But with that being said, just one last thing on my mind, Anthony, is when you like when we talk about, creating these pools, and all these creators coming in, when you curate those launches, what are the things that you were like basically bottleneck, or not bottlenecking on, but what's been your biggest challenge when it comes to maybe pitching, or to like building the whole strategy, the whole thought process? What was your biggest, roadblock that you ran into,
I
or
think the
biggest
biggest,
challenge?
yeah, the biggest blocker in the onboarding process or pitching or however you want to word it is essentially getting over the stigma associated with launching a token, right? And for many creators, I think Zora eased that tension a little bit. There's a bit of comfortability because so many people were doing it. It was just kind of acceptable, right? There's a peer pressure associated with it. But then we saw major collapse. Like we believe Zora was directionally correct. We just think their execution wasn't on point. Um, and with that, I feel as though that tension is kind of resurfaced. So early on, it was a little bit more difficult talking to creators to, I mean, selling the value was obvious. They understood it. Like the flywheel's there, the economics make sense, but do they want to risk their reputation? And is there damage that could be associated with that? And now that we're progressing, those conversations got easier in the past month or two. And now that we've had our first launch, There are individuals that had told me that they had no interest in launching a token, now reinvigorating those conversations themselves, coming back and saying, hey, let's talk a little bit more about this. Let's see what this looks like. So I think the biggest blocker has really been that the risk of reputational damage. And the only way to overcome it is to prove our model with those that are willing to take the risk. And I think we're doing that.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And when we talk about scaling, what's on your mind there? What's the biggest issue that you foresee here? Is it going permissionless?
Well,
Or not
permission.
issue? Maybe it's a little fear even, right? Of like not being able to control it anymore.
I don't know so much about fear because we get through these curated launches and we establish ourselves in the space. We secure the AUM and the TVL that we need, and we drive the user base in, and we have the active investors that we need, the buy power, purchase power behind launches. We can measure those, right? Like they'll be there. We'll understand those metrics, and that's what we need to scale the business. The permissionless, I almost see as, I wouldn't call it a side venture, but it shouldn't ever really distract from what we're doing. We should continue doing what we're doing for years to come, and there's no reason not to, because there will always be more creators, there will always be bigger creators, there will always be new creators.
And you kind of
um,
need the years also as well, right? To build reputation and to build a track record and everything.
we do, yeah. And I think there are some guardrails that can be applied. For me, the biggest concern in scaling is making sure that we don't lose perception and be able to tell the difference between the trees and the forest, right? So
Yeah.
we don't want to get tunnel vision and locked in on anything in particular. It's again very important that we gather the feedback from the community, we analyze the data, we compare the anecdotal data with the on-chain, real, tangible, viable numbers, because that's going to tell us the tale, and that's worked thus far. We're 1 week in, but we need to continue to do that for weeks and months on, just so we can continue to iterate and refine. And then when we go permissionless, we can thrust in particular guardrails to make sure that malicious behavior is minimized. That's the biggest risk to me is people just abusing the platform, right? You know, Theoretically, Pump Fund is a fantastic platform. It was built in inspiration of essentially saving all us in the trenches. I mean, I was in a group, a particular trading group in which Elon is a participant. He was trading shitcoins with us back then. I remember it. And we were getting rugged all the time because we didn't even know what rugchecker.xyz was on Solana and stuff like that. So we're just seeing these tokens hit the market and wreck us. And he built something that was intended to protect people, but everything gets gamed. People start to understand and they manipulate, and now that becomes a very difficult ecosystem to participate in at times. I still trade there. I have nothing bad to say about Pump Fund, but we just need to make sure that we're forward thinking so that our platform doesn't become a platform in which malicious actors manipulate and abuse our community members. Because at the end of the day, those are the most major stakeholders. Any VCs that come in, everybody throws capital at us, we scale ourselves as stakeholders. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's the customers. We have to be customer centric in all of our thought process. So that's, I wouldn't call it a fear, but just something we
I
have to be cognitive of.
I can wholeheartedly agree with you. Like I always say, like the only thing that we have left most of the time is just offering good service. Right? That's just how it is. Like it's like everything we do is technically a service that we offer. Right? We could say like in a well in a world where we don't talk that many like high level like crypto terms, we could say Vibe is basically perps as a service, right? Same with you is launch curation and vault building for creators as a service. Like everything comes down to how good of a service can we offer to our customers. And that's why I think many ecosystems in crypto have failed because they thought they have the coolest thing ever and they don't need to provide the best service. And while other ecosystems have thrived, right, when they didn't have the best thing to start with, but they offered the best service and they kept building and iterating, and now they are successful. So that's kind of like like in Germany, there's a lot of that feeling that service always gives you the best feeling ever. When you go to a restaurant, when you go to your car shop, when you go grocery shopping. And the same is basically what we have to do here in this space. We just have to offer a good service. When people want to talk to us, there can't be any barriers, right? When they give us feedback, they have to be allowed to. They have to be allowed to criticize us as well. Because there's never going to be a successful ecosystem that can thrive without criticism and without the important user feedback. So quick shout out to all the people that work, with Anthony on this and help him iterate and build this whole thing. And quick shout out to all the Vibe beta testers and community members that help us with feedback daily, so we can, focus a little bit on making everything much better and giving you guys what you basically deserve and want. So, with that being said, wow, that's fucking cheese. Like, what the fuck? Really? Somebody press the lost button for that? Great. I listen, guys. That wasn't me, right? Like, sorry. Like, see, like people will think that's me now. Like, yeah, there goes the German tapping his own shoulder. Fuck's sake. Anyways, completely took me out of my concept that I had, but we wanted to do a little bit of market talks, Anthony, with what's happening currently. And, last time we started building a little bit of a portfolio when it comes to some major assets that everybody should own. What are your two favorite major tokens that you maybe, were once a maxi of? Once were holding a huge bag, but round tripped it 2, 3, 4 times, and then sold it at a loss, as probably everyone has done in this space. So tell me a little bit, or tell us a little bit about what you're holding there.
Oh God, I don't want to even get into the PTSD of round tripping. I've round tripped millions and millions of dollars, unfortunately.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, there's too many to count. There are hundreds of
Welcome to the
tokens.
club. Yeah, welcome to the
Yeah,
club.
it's a rough go. For me, today trading is very different than it historically was. I came into this space at like the end of 2020, early 2021. I came in, via Reddit, like a lot of people did. I think the story is almost cliche now, but I came in trading, what was prominently discussed as like a high level alt then, so Cardano and stuff like that, and I did fairly well. It was a good time, and then found my way into some trading groups in which I completely turned into a degenerate overnight trading, throwing $100,000 bags at shit coins with, a couple $1 million market cap and stuff like that. And I had a lot of fun doing it, but I have since matured as well. I do hit the trenches, weekly, but not every day like I once did, not 12 hours, 18 hours a day, not a chance. I just don't have the time. So most of my trading now is long term. Most of it's high level. I'm dealing with Bitcoin predominantly. I do love my Bitcoin. And there's some up and comers that I like as well from a technological perspective, but yeah, it's different
So
these days.
if somebody would ask you, right, other than BTC, ETH, and the bigger ones like Sol, what would you tell them? Like one token, two tokens.
Well, let me see. You can pull up some wallets real quick and upon my bags.
I have to see what. That's funny.
Give me a second.
That shows you're a very sophisticated investor.
I worry because I'm always afraid to advocate for something because when I do trench it, it is still very degenerate.
Oh, don't do any, like, I'm talking about majors, right? Like last time we said we're building a portfolio of 10 majors, like BTC, ETH, XRP, maybe, or well, some people like that. I don't. Sol, I said I like Near a lot. Near is one of my favorite tokens.
Okay.
Doesn't mean, we're advocating to buy them. It just means, we, as out of fun, if we would build a portfolio, what we would put inside.
Yeah, two for sure that I've recently become even more bullish on, but have historically been bullish are Canton and Chainlink. Chainlink, just because of their continual expansion and ability to find real business opportunities. I think that I don't want to say undervalued today, but I think their potential isn't realized. Canton, I do think is undervalued. Now, Canton is one I always stay a little weary of, and at the same time, because of the lack of liquidity. I don't want to say lack of liquidity, but across their markets, their depth is a little small, in my opinion, given the size of the market cap. However, there's the counterpoint to that is the security in Canton, right? Like those that are participating within the ecosystem are the ones that are bringing liquidity into this market. They're doing trillions of dollars in volume. Like it's insane.
Yeah,
They're
Canton
just
is good.
Yeah, I think they're undervalued. I think so. Portfolio two lesser talked about in my opinion, Canton and Chainlink.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I actually know two of the guys that doing that part of the validators for Canton. So really fucking smart people doing a really fucking good job. Like I like your I like the additions to the portfolio there. I'm curious what Canton what becomes out of Canton in the next 1, 2, 3 years.
Well, they just raised a whole lot of money, and I know
Ye-
that talking to the foundation, they're intending to put a lot of emphasis on building out the tools to make the developer's life easier. Every foundation says that, but when I meet with the foundation of Canton, I believe them, and some other foundations I don't believe them as much when I hear them say that. So I think they're good.
Yeah,
And so,
like I said. Oh, Alice, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, Bob, are we gonna jump into listings, or do we want to look at
Yes,
some of these,
sir.
or do we want to look at
Yes.
some of these charts? Because I have Link pulled up right now, and I do really like what I'm seeing.
Yes. Let me quickly. You know what, Thiago? I'm gonna quickly add liquidity here to Goku and cards because we wanted to do that for a long time, and because 2 streams ago or 3 streams ago, those tokens were kind of stuck in a loop. We have now fixed it, and they show up in the UI. So now we can add liquidity to them. So I'm gonna quickly do that for Goku. I copied the address. I'll go to Goku and okay, just nothing is happening. What is happening? Ah, now finally. And then I'll send out the Goku to the wallet. That works, perfect. Send, confirm the deposit. Now we're gonna wait real quick. We're gonna look for cards. That is here, wonderful. We're gonna copy that address. Check our cards. Yeah, perfect. We'll send that to that address. Quickly double check. Yes, makes sense. Boom. So now we quickly added some LP to both of those tokens. And now, Tiago, if you would be so kind, switch over to Ares screen. And then we can maybe take some trades and look at some tokens. And then we'll go back to my screen because we want to list maybe 1 or 2 more.
So we're looking at the Link chart right now. I don't know about you guys, but I love what I'm seeing here.
Oh, yeah.
Just from this is the weekly chart actually, because Link's been around for quite some time. But I'd say the risk to reward at this level, and maybe even max like another 30%, 40% drawdown. You're looking at a good 2 to 3x on a major.
Yeah, I like that chart. I mean, we're bottomed here pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, hey Steph, hey Midi, Cryptic Zeus, and hey Misha.
So it was Canton. How do you spell it, Anthony?
Canton. Canton. Like
And
Cantonese.
N?
Canton? Canton.
This, yeah. Wait.
Like Cantonese. You know,
Canton.
Cantonese.
Let's get on this one, yeah.
Wait, I'm not on your screen. No. Here, give me a second. I'll send that to you. It's a top 10 or top 20 CMC, even I think.
C-A-N.
Yeah, 17 is it? Canton. Here, I'll send it over to you. There it is. Oh God, you still have the beeping on. Jesus Christ.
Here we go. No, it is this. It is this one, yeah.
Is it? Okay, yeah. It's just like.
Oh, this is also a very nice nice chart here. Interesting. So this one is what? Why are we bullish on this one again? What's the? I've never heard of it, so I need to.
Anthony,
Is the
why we bullish?
institution chain. Yeah, this is the place where Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bank of America, those types of folks, this is where they operate. Now, the reason for that is Canton's technology is unique in that it provides a privacy layer, but is not specifically a privacy chain. Language is also different too. It's a little bit, no Solidity or Rust. It's a more, I don't say archaic language, but more familiar language to these major institutions that are perhaps a couple of years behind. um, and yeah, it's just the place for these types of institutions to operate due to the privacy layer. Now, their volume is what excites me. They do insane amounts of volume compared to just about any other ecosystem. And obviously, the partners there, liquidity providers, are rather significant. Now, it has been difficult for builders to build. That has been a problem. The foundation's identified this, and they're working pretty hard to bring forth the tools and resources to simplify building and development for those that wish to participate within the ecosystem. So I think there's a lot of long-term potential. Now, it's also a long-term play, right? When you're talking about institutions, you're not talking about 1 second charts. You're talking about playing the long game. These guys are looking at 5, 10, 15-year game plans. But Canton is quite exciting. I think they just raised $280 million as well. So doing quite well.
Jesus Christ.
Massive. Don't mind
That is massive.
my lines on the chart, but I like what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, no worries. The only counterpoint that I really have for Canton, other than the difficulty of development, is when I look at their markets. I think it's roughly $30 million in liquidity across pools and order books. I might be off on that number. Don't quote me. But given the multi-billion-dollar FDV, that's a little thin for me. But I keep that in mind, and I have some bullish theses on the organization. So
Looks
I'm not
like
as worried.
they need vibe.
TPL, the main selling point here, it sounds like it's something else, right? Like the payment rails or that these banks are using.
Well, there's a number of builders that have different technologies there, but yeah, you can talk about Rails, you can talk about tokenization. There's a number of different products being built within the ecosystem. So there's some cool stuff to be done. I don't want to pigeonhole it to any particular limitation, because I think they're able to build anything that's needed by institutions there, and I think that they will.
Interesting. Very cool. Yeah. One, I'm not sure if you guys remember XPL, which had quite the. They did a very their first
Plasma?
day. Yeah, Plasma. Their launch they had a good launch day, and then it was just like this complete. People went through a lot of pain, you could say.
Oh yeah,
But,
yeah.
what they do have now, which is coming to public very soon, and I mean it looks like it's roughly kind of bottomed out here, is their neobank has fully launched, right? This Plasma One crypto debit card, and personally, I'm using it every day now for all my purchases, just because they have like some of the best cash back in terms of like actual cash and not points, but it's just like a really easy, crypto debit card to use. But I don't know. I think when that launches, it could be it could kind of maybe have a reversal here. I think that's kind of bottomed out here, and they have a real product coming to market. They have already do really good volume in their private beta. I personally use it every day, so I don't know. It's another interesting one that I'm starting to watch a bit more.
Plasma is interesting. Yeah, they had a lot of excitement for a brief period of time from a demographic that was kind of like outlier, I would say, to their actual ideal customer profile. But I think the attention that they garnered, that was proven by that, was quite intriguing, and I think you're right. I'm bullish on them long term as well.
Yeah, I think also just it was quite overvalued. It was a huge airdrop. It was really hype driven before an actual product and revenue is out. And so I'd say it has now approached fair market value. And yeah, I don't know. I think it could have a very interesting, see where it goes from here. But yeah.
Good. So now that we're already looking at tokens, let's go back to my screen, please, Thiago. And let's look for a token or two that we can buy and list. And then I wanna, or before we do that, I wanna list Goblin Town.
Oh, Goblin Town, Jesus.
Yes, I love Goblin Town. Dun-dun-dun-dun. We love Goblin Town. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a weird guy, but like I really like Goblin Town.
I think Goblin Town has a place in all of our hearts. If you were there
Yeah,
for
yeah,
it, yeah, you get it.
yeah, yeah. It's like, when something, I don't know how to say it, but like when something has like lore in your brain when you think of something, right? And you can think of different statuses and different events that happen, and it has that whole lore attached to it, basically, right? That's when like something is is dear to my heart. So like that's the same with Goblin Town. Like the whole story and like how it came about and the NFTs, etc. Like it has this whole lore attached that I just like a lot. So with that being said, we're gonna list that on Vibe today. Let me quickly. Good, perfect. Create the pool. And this goes really, really quick. I'll grab the Goblin Town. Check the address, double check, yes, works. And I will send it in. And I will quickly check for, there should be the cards one. That is live, perfect. And let me check on the Goku one. Is it live already? Oh yes, that is also live. Perfect. So Goku and cards are live, and we can now look at some charts and see what we want to buy. So Anthony, you're our guest of honor today. I would love for you to, maybe pick out a token that you like here that we should buy and instantly list on Vibe.
You know what? I've got one that was dropped in our private community that was like uber low cap, had some cool features. Apparently the developer's been working hard. I'm gonna position that one. Low risk for
Yes, sir.
everybody. And I think this guy deserves some credit. So find
Let's go.
just let me dig up the link. Bear with me.
And you know what? That's really what I like. That you're not just picking out any token there from Deck Screener, but actually, and that's what I always preach. Just like we want to support builders. Like guys, come on stream, ask us to come in here, show your product, show us your token, etc. We want to support you. We did that a couple of times now, where we just bought tokens from smaller builders, smaller communities. And now basically, they were able to bring their community to Vibe. They can employ different trading strategies. They can add LP and earn themselves while they're supporting the community. And also the developer, of course, now has a chance, right, to make something out of his idle sitting tokens. So I like that a lot, what you're doing here, Anthony.
I appreciate that. I'm just digging up the CA. Bear with me.
No stress, no stress. While you're doing that, Ares, did you see that? Like it came just like out of nowhere again 5 days ago. I like no one saw it, and all of a sudden it's like fucking 16, 19, like peak 19 mil, nearly 20 mil.
I love it. Sounds like
It,
crime now.
yeah. Oh, yeah, bro. Like, right? Without even like, if I explain it like that, it sounds like crime. But Toastcoin, like this, and they only have a website and a Telegram, no Twitter apparently.
Maybe that's the new meta. I just sent you a CA in the Telegram group we have here.
Yes, let me check that out. Raven AI.
Yeah, that toes looks like a total cabal
Yeah.
coin.
That is crimey. Okay, so Shadow is the name.
Yeah, from my understanding, let me check with. So I believe what they have is an NFT that auto trades for you. And I'm not sure where the token fits into it. I read this yesterday, but
Probably gives you access with the token, right?
yeah, something like that. I'll have to
Oh
find
damn!
the
Like they went up to like 3.3, and then it just dunked. Twitter. Let's look at it. Automated by Capo. Raven Shadow is the face, is the culture. Oh, Raven is the face, Shadow is the culture. Collection of Shadows Alana, okay. It's a very small community. Building build tools for the Shadow Mafia. Okay, okay, I like that. I like that though. Yeah, but how does the token fit in? Do we know that?
Oh, I think the token is the access, and you get the NFT airdropped.
Oh,
That's what I'm reading now. My daughter's here now.
okay.
Yeah, so you get the NFT airdropped. He's been building for a while, I guess. There's an auto trade feature to token holders. Yeah, seems like a nice low risk opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, with that, like with that low, basically, we're bottom here.
Yeah, I would say it's 8K.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's just grab us all of that and list it. This one, yep, that works. Good, good, good. Let's see. That works. We're buying one soul. And just so you guys see, right? Like, I mean, this just like just so we can get a clip without me talking a lot, right? Because we were always looking for a clip how to quickly list things. So I'm gonna quickly do that without much talking, just so we can clip something here. Okay, that should be good. That is, boom. Awesome, good. So, wonderful. Thiago, if you wouldn't mind switching over to Ares, we want to place maybe 1 or 2 trades today. Maybe Anthony also wants to, see what we're trading and maybe has an idea what we could trade. And then we're wrapping up the stream. Sounds good.
I'll pull it up. We're sitting a bit underwater here, but we do some extra balance for some trades.
Yes, and before you do that, of course, just a quick shout out to what we listed 2 days ago, or yesterday, right? Yesterday? Yeah, 2 days ago. We listed pre-stocks from prestocks.com. We listed Polymarket, Kalshi, Neuralink, OpenAI, Anduril, Anthropic, or SpaceX. Not we, but someone listed that. So now you can trade all those pre-stocks before they go into IPO on Vibe. So enjoy that. And you're now on Ares.
Yes, to add to that, you guys can see that here. Polymarket, Kalshi, Neuralink, OpenAI, all these. Maybe we even want to trade some pre-stocks.
Maybe we do, actually.
Now, what price are we at here? Actually, okay, we'll pull them up here. Mm-hmm. So market cap, what price, what valuation is this actually at? Because it's okay.
What do you mean? The
How do you check
pre-stocks?
that? So like, yeah, for the pre-stocks. Oh, I guess I can maybe see the FDV on. No, you can't. Okay.
I think you probably have to check that on pre-stocks. Not sure where to see that.
Yeah. Let me quickly check this. Oh yeah, so you can check out their website. Exactly. Okay, SpaceX implied valuation 2.07. Okay, not bad. The maybe we'll find a good pre-stock here to trade. So SpaceX at 2.07, cool. Oh, but the mark valuation is 2.42, yeah. Oh no, but we're trading the actual, sorry, we're trading the token price. Oh, let me up. I
So
guess
with most of those assets, the on-chain valuation is higher than the actual stock evaluation, right? Or the on-chain evaluation is higher than the actual actual evaluation.
so we're
Other than with Kalshi. With Kalshi, the on-chain evaluation is lower than the actual evaluation.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Like I can see SpaceX, for example. So we're at,
Oh yeah, they see it.
okay, interesting. Yeah, so the implied valuation is pretty close to the public IPO, which is going to be at 2 million. Anthropic, though, and I want to check this quickly on. Jump back over to Vibe here. So you can see what the chart is. Okay, interesting. You know what? Actually, I think we'll go for. I see a third one here. I'd like to see what the chart is like on this one. So it looks like a lot of the pre-stocks actually had some weird liquidation dump happening around this, which is interesting. I'd say what we're going to go for. So like SpaceX, if you see the token price last 18 days, okay, I guess it's different from the actual. No, we'll check a couple more. We'll do a little bit more research here before we make a bet. I wish we weren't locked up in the World Cup trade so we could make a better one here as well.
That I mean, not my fault.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Interesting. So here's the thing, because like on actual secondaries and Drool, so the one we were looking at, like the token price is 144, but the actual stock's at around 68 right now. And so I don't know if it's actually trading at a 2x premium or how exactly. Yeah, from on-chain markets. Currently traded retail price per share on-chain markets for this pre-stocks token. And so is it really a 2x premium, or that's what I'm finding a bit weird?
I'm not sure really. Like not I didn't list them. I didn't check out anything about it. You know, I just saw it and just wanted to remind the people of it basically. So
Yeah.
let's yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe let's trade something else then.
Yeah,
Let's
maybe
see
we go.
what else is good there. And then we'll end because we're already 5 minutes over. And I know we all have meetings coming, so let's get this rolling.
Yeah, okay. Actually, you know what? Regardless, I think we're gonna go for Anduril. Maybe SpaceX would be the other pick, but Anduril, it's actually down 18% in the last 30 days, at least the
I
token
like
price.
Underreal a lot. Say
but
less.
it's such a hot coming up stock right now. There's so much demand for it, and
Yes.
so I think it could be a good one.
And also, like, the guy bought a bank and named it Erebor after the fucking mountain where the dwarves hid all their riches in Lord of the Rings. So, I mean, come on, right? Like, you can't go wrong with picking that.
Okay, interesting. We can do a just to avoid liquidation. Let's say we set our stop loss down there. Right, maybe we gotta. Okay, we'll do something like that.
Oh, Aris, you're on the Hive tab. You have to
Oh,
go to your trading screen.
there we go. So I was just setting our parameters here. So I'm gonna do something in this. I mean, it's pretty much 1-to-1, so it's fine. But we're gonna aim back up for this 200 position, and then I'm just seeing how much leverage we want to throw behind it. Oh shoot! So there's only that much liquidity. Okay.
Yeah, let's open a small
We'll
position.
go for this. We'll go for this one. Let me do like 1.5.
Sometimes we also have to show that you can trade with very, very low size, right? Vibe is for everyone.
It says there's an error, but no, it's oh no, there was an error. That did not place.
What's that quote ID? 2987? 29?
I think so. I wasn't able to catch it. I'm gonna increase the slippage rate and see if that was the issue. Oh, I think that placed it. Yeah, we got it. Let me quickly refresh
Okay,
it.
so that was a slippage error.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then we're good on that. Did you receive a warning for that?
I got a hedging warning.
No, but you didn't receive a yellow warning on the right, correct?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so you had. Can you just go to the tab, please, and see like the ID, the quote ID? I think it was 2897 or 2997. I'm not sure. Like maybe we can scroll, like
So
go
the
back a
history
little
would
bit. Give me a second.
oh wait, no. Well, it would be um. So if this one's 2495, the last one would be 2494.
Yeah. Let me see. Because that is like a different quote ID, I guess. Then I'll just have to like see your tab and go back in my. But no, all good. That works. Oh yeah, there you are.
Mm-hmm.
Let me quickly see what the quote ID says, because no, you didn't get a warning. What's 7x? No, you didn't get a warning. I'm seeing that now. We put in slippage 1.5. Yeah, no, didn't. It's 2897. Quote ID 2897. Okay. All right, good. Quote ID 2897. I'm writing that down, Aris. It's all good.
Okay.
I'm in the other group. Like, just delete that so we don't confuse people, please.
Yeah. Sweet.
Good. Then this works.
Chatting about earlier, Anthony, about us catching the bugs on the go while we're live as well.
Yeah, Anthony. Now you saw how that usually works when we stream. Sometimes we just find a bug and then we have to like quickly focus on it, so it's reported also, right, to the devs, etc. By the
No,
way,
that's
quick shout out
fantastic.
to the devs. They are watching, so that we always have some quick support and somebody to take the feedback. But yes, guys. So first of all, we're 10 minutes over, so we'll end this shortly or quickly. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you very much, Anthony, for displaying Pantheon telling us what you guys got cooking and showing us a little bit more about the future, right? That you have for us. I'm super hyped for our call in the next days, and yeah, I mean, I can't wait to get some boots on the ground with you and working on some cool shit together. Appreciate you for taking time. Whole Vibe community appreciates you, of course, and looking forward to having you on stream again. And maybe we'll bring Big Willie, so he can also share a little bit about what he's building there, right, with his vault, and we can also bring the other creators if they want to. So that's an open invite, of course. Thank you all to the people listening, and thanks to Aris as well, as always, for being the most awesome co-host. I wish you all a wonderful rest of your day, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world. Stay healthy, take care, and thank you very much for tuning in. You all have a wonderful rest of your day. Cheers. Bye bye.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate you guys. Ciao, ciao.
Cheers.